Dave, game finally played here at the Shane over 1-1. Give me your overall assessment of tonight.
It's the angriest I've been in a long time. I don't know whether I'm being a bit harsh. If you look at it in terms of chances and moments in the game, we've probably done enough to win. But once again, either that last pass lets us down with the care, or the keeper's made a brilliant save from Luke. But for me, the first 15 minutes of the second half dictated a little bit. We were miles off it, and then some of the things I see in the second half concerns me a bit, worries me a bit, and it's the first time, like I say, I'll question things that sort of happened, and like I say, I'll watch the game back as we do, and I might be being a bit harsh, but like I say, the feel at the minute is, like I say, I'm not been as angry at this in a long time.
If we just go back to the beginning, Molyneux came in at the side, Featherstone came back in. What was the overall decisions with them? And obviously we'll talk about Johnson as well, and Johnson's injury.
I think you could see there towards the end there were people that look leggy because of the amount of games we've had, and we have the opportunity to mix things up. Fed's an important player for us, especially away from home, especially looking at their game from against Torquay, and whether you think they'll set up in a way that sort of drops off and almost plays in the away team and allow us to have possession of the ball, which was the case. Similarly with Moles, we thought that might happen, and Oatsy's strength is when there's space in behind, and if they're defending deep and dropping in, then there wasn't going to be that space in behind. So we thought Moles getting in little pockets and potentially being able to float from side to side and be difficult to mark could hopefully cause issues, and I think, like I say, to a certain degree it did. He again looks like he's short. After 55 minutes he sort of blew up, so at that point when they're on the front foot and pushing bodies forward, there is space in behind, so it's more of a game for Oatsy. Fed's, like I say, coming in a really important one for us, and to be fair with Tom's done nothing wrong, but load-wise he's played, like I say, a lot of football in a week and a half compared to what he's played for the previous 6 months. So him playing Saturday, Tuesday last week meant that he was sore Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and like I say, we're probably a bit surprised he got through the game Saturday. So that's one position where I suppose we can mix things up, give ourselves some fresh legs, get Feds back into the swing of things. But Tom, like I say, certainly in our plans moving forward.
Johnson not in the squad tonight. Obviously, he came in. What was the decision?
Yeah, Jono tweaked his groin in the game on Saturday, so was unavailable for us, which means we obviously had to switch things round. And again, probably as an add-on to that, we've obviously got some little niggles from tonight. So you're expecting at some point, you hope it doesn't, but at some point the games and the schedule catches up with you. At the minute, like I say, it's catching up with us a little bit, and putting us on the back foot in terms of people being a little bit sore and potentially them being a risk for us to play them.
Does a lot of your anger come from the fact that whole first half we were so dominant, and to come away from home and be so good on the ball and get our goal? At half time we were looking really quite strong as well.
Yeah, listen, don't be confused by us, the domination that they were allowing us to have the ball in certain areas, and had dropped off, and we're not going to press us. So I don't get too bogged down with thinking, oh, this is great, we're all over them. They let us have the ball, and they dropped off and wanted to try and counter-attack from deep areas. I think we had to adapt a little bit in terms of what we did. We got in some good areas. The game was probably, from our perspective, even though we were the ones on the front foot, when there was I suppose a transition, us winning it back was the time when they were pretty open. So it was probably from our sort of our side of things, the counter press that potentially gave us chances, and that was the case in the second half. We've really good opportunities to slide people in 1v1, not done it, and like I say, that's cost us a game. There's at least 5 really good moments from our perspective where if we make a better, technically make a better pass or we make a better decision, then we have a really good chance of scoring. And listen, if the keeper makes a save like he did, then so be it. But he's only had to make one of those saves, and in the other instances, we've not done enough.
Partway through the second half, 1-0 up, Sturry comes off for Bloomfield, a bit of a change of shape. What was the thinking behind that?
We had no choice but to change our shape with the personnel. Like I say, defenders wise, we're obviously short. Jamie was feeling his thigh a little bit, so we'll have to see how he is, and see if he recovers for the weekend, and if he doesn't, and we've probably got to look where we are squad wise, and whether we need to do anything in terms of personnel coming in, because ideally I'd like to persist with the shape we've been playing. Jono may be back, like I say, is not a bad one. It's probably a 7 to 10 days one, so 7 days is from the weekend. He may be fit. Similar with Jamie. Jamie might settle down and be fine, but like I say, it's a really tough schedule for us at the minute, and you'd probably think that Saturday, Tuesday for the next 4 or 5 weeks isn't going to be viable. So we need to look at things.
Does it make it more disappointing that the goal came from a set piece, and a few maybe questions whether it was even a foul in the first place?
I don't know. Listen, whether it's a foul or not, from my perspective, I look at it, it's a long kick forward. We've got to be more dominant. You're not playing against someone who's 6'8", so our defenders have got to be better there. Pointing the finger at them, not the other way around. The referee gives a free kick, he gives a free kick. We'd have to defend the free kick. That's like, per the compounds, like I say, it's a poor goal. Too easy, a simple ball in, a desire to want to go and head the ball, and like I say, that's unacceptable. And people who play at the back are going to be judged upon that. If you can't head the ball, you've got no chance, absolutely no chance.
Final stage of the game, Williams is sent off, and it looked like from the reaction from the bench, you thought that it was inside the boxes.
I don't know. No, listen, I know Danny at Firewood for a short spell, and asked him straight away, was it outside the box? And he said it was outside the box. He didn't think it was a red card, but Pete is pretty honest, said that was a definite red. So no, listen, I think from our perspective, you're looking over it. It's always going to look inside the box, isn't it? On a bit of a sort of bit of a hazy, bit of a misty night. It's a long way away. You all of a sudden think you've got the chance to win the game from 12 yards, which I'd have been confident we'd have taken. It then becomes a free kick, which we make nothing of, unfortunately.
Just finally, what do you think we need to do to almost pick up more wins on the road and carry on that such good home form we've got at the Vic?
Score more and concede less. It's pretty simple. We can beat, like I say, the last 3 games we've done more than what 2 goals comes from, and like I say, then becomes a pressure on people to make the right decisions or stick the ball in there. And if they can't do that, then unfortunately it's my job to find people that can do that. And that's a tough thing to say when people are playing so well. But I'm not going to sort of stand there or sitting there sort of wanting and wishing and waiting to see what happens. We should be in a miles better position than we are points wise, and tonight is another example of what's happened over the past 3 or 4 games, in terms of the games, certainly away from home. Again, probably been a little bit different at home because we've kept clean sheets, and if I'm Saturday now having won 1-0, I'd probably still be saying great to keep a clean sheet, but we've got to win that game more comfortably. That was the case Saturday. That was the case at Wrexham. That was potentially the case at Eastleigh when we had chances but conceded 2 poor goals. So again, it's not It's not like it's a different theme. It's the same theme, and it needs to improve.
Dave, thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you.